Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's another day. It's overcast, we've got a hell of a lot of rain coming in this week, and yesterday I managed to do my contracting job. I had a few comments about contracting and how do we charge for contracting. Well, we use the NAAC pricing guide, which is the National Association of Agricultural Contractors, and that's how we basically charge our fees to other people, farmers, landowners, to basically earn a living, a bit of extra income on the farm with the tractors and machines. So yeah, we've been pretty busy recently this year with contracting, which we never normally do. We've got the mechanic here today, and he's rebuilding the old McCormick 434 International in the shed, so we're hoping to get that started later on today. It's had to have a new rocket gasket. We've emptied the engine of oil. It was full of water and oil. Because the engine had pretty much already, well, almost blown up. And this morning I was listening to Farming Today. They were talking about vertical farming and, you know, these big factory farms which we have nowadays. It seems to be a bit of a shame, you know, for the small family farm. The family farms being sort of pushed aside. They did touch on working with your family on a small family farm. That was also mentioned today on Farming Today. But I just couldn't believe that, you know, I can't believe how many of these factory farms are building everywhere nowadays. It just seems to me as though, you know, for a small farmer, how are you supposed to be able to earn a living or even compete with these mega farms who are making, you know, who are building huge industrial complexes which are just, you know, off the scale. Going on another subject, back at Agritechnica last year when we were there, some of the John Deere equipment was quite interesting because if you were noticed, if you look back at those videos when we were at Agritechnica, the tractors didn't have cabs, and they're going to be doing away with, you know, or they want to do away with drivers, but it's a bit of a sad time really, because, you know, for the small farmer, because they're just trying to earn a living and, you know, want to make you know, as much as they can off a small amount of land, like we do here on this farm, which is 200 acres of arable, 300 acres of grassland. We've got beef and lamb, but, you know, it seems to be heading towards sort of like, you know, artificially grown meat, vegetables, salad and potatoes, and it's just, you know, I'd rather eat my beef from something which has been, you know, living on the fields, if you know what I mean, something which you can actually see, than something which has come out of an industrial warehouse. But, you know, if a lot of these industrial farms built which are designed indoors with vertical farming, you know, if, you know, that's the only way we can feed the population, then so be it. And if it's more environmentally friendly and you can run it on byproducts, they've built one in Norwich which runs off excess heat from the waterworks, the sewage plant there just outside of Norwich, and that works really well because they're using a byproduct to heat the industrial indoor greenhouse system they've got there, and that's great. It's a bit like these anaerobic digestion plants they've got nowadays. If you run the AD plants on a byproduct, I think that's probably more environmentally friendly than growing something just for the AD plant, if that makes sense. And it's a similar thing, you know, with the industrial greenhouse farming. We need to be looking at probably running these systems on waste. It's another blow, you know, today, unfortunately, on a small family farm. But that's just the way it's going. And if, you know, I think, you know, on a smaller farm like this one, we need to be looking at things like niche products, you know, organic grass-fed lamb. Funnily enough, our lamb, although not certified organic, it is organic because down at the Broads we don't spray any chemicals on the sheep's food. They eat grass which hasn't been sprayed, hasn't had any fertiliser on it, so it is pretty much organic, and it's a product which we can sell, which is a higher value product. You know, we need to be looking at things like, you know, specialty restaurants in London, like high-end places to sell our beef and lamb, because it's a great product, rather than sort of going down the more mainstream, I guess, industrial farming route. That's probably something we'll try and focus on, you know, going into the future. And a question which we've been asked a lot recently about the equipment on the farm, the machinery which we run, is with getting into all of the classic equipment, the classic tractors, the Massey Ferguson in particular. Will we have a look at the new Massey Ferguson, the 8S, which has got the new sort of different design, cab style, and, you know, it might be something to look at. I don't know if we're going to go down the 8S route because that's quite a big tractor, but we will certainly try one out because they do look a really nice piece of kit, as a lot of you guys have said. But we do like John Deere's on the channel as well, so it's a difficult one really. I do like my Masseys at the same time. They do look nice, the new 8Ss. Thanks for recommending it to have a look at. The 8S has got the Sisu engine, which is from Finland. They've got a Fendt Vario gearbox. The only thing which they haven't got, which you know, I'm looking at it, you look at that 8S and you think, you know, is that a JCB fast track? Is it high speed? But no, it's fairly, you know, it's about 50k on the road, a little bit over 50k. So it's a tractor, it's a conventional style tractor, not a fast track high speed machine, but it's got a modern twist on it. And you know, would we swap the 6155R for an 8S with a front loader? I don't know, but we'll certainly have a look at one and see what it's like. And it would be nice to go with the Massey Ferguson'S, I know, the classic Masseys, but the only trouble is we do like the John Deeres. So, you know, a lot of people love the 6R, and I know it's not the 6.9, but it is a good tractor and it does the job for us. But there's just so much choice out there nowadays of what's about, especially with a lot more of these modern tractors. We went yesterday and did that cultivating with the Pottinger, did a good job for the person we were doing it for. And I'm just putting on the Massey mower, and as I was saying a couple of days ago in another video, we've been looking at that John Deere 6630 standard, and you know, one of the reasons why I'd love a second tractor at the moment is not just because they're a good investment or a good thing to put your money in at the moment, but it's also, I find it to be a bit of a nuisance when you're constantly changing attachments all the time. When you've got a job you're going to do over a long period of time, such as mowing over summer with the flail mower, it would be nice just to leave a tractor on that whilst we can then put the John Deere on the cattle float, the dump trailer behind that, or the bale trailer, or the Pottinger cultivator, whilst, you know, the other one could be doing something else, if that makes sense. So there's a little bit of a convenience, I guess, when you've got two machines. You sometimes see farmers who have got, like, you know, 4 or 5 tractors, and they'll each have a job on the farm and they'll just be sitting on one machine, which is, you know, that's maybe a bit excessive, but that's what that farmer enjoys, to just have that convenience. You could have it on the wrapper here at this farm, and then you could have the other tractor transporting bales whilst the Manitou unloads it here, and then the other one's on the wrapper. You know, everything works, it can work well basically, and you can save a little bit of money, you know, because you don't have to get another tractor in, paying them per hour to be on the farm when you've got the tractor, the equipment and the machinery, you know, yourself. And there's a lot of that actually. There's a big resurgence at the moment in small farms trying to do things themselves, because a lot of the, you know, the big contractors are becoming very specialist nowadays in their field, if you pardon the pun, and you know, they don't want to be doing, you know, smaller farm work, if that makes sense. Muck spreading. We used to have a guy, people say, well, why do you do your own muck spreading? We used to have a contractor who did all our muck spreading, and their equipment just got so big that they weren't really interested in our farm, to be honest. They've got poultry farms to go and look at, huge dairy places to go to, and you know, we weren't really, you know, a priority for them. So they'd never really turn up to do the muck spreading until it was too late. So you know, and that's just the way it's going really. So I think for the smaller farmer, we can eke out a living by you know, adapting to the times and doing things a bit more yourself with smaller specialist equipment. This could do with a wash off, this machine. It will get washed off when it comes to the end of the season. I'm just popping the PTO on here. Always turn the tractor off when you put the PTO on. I'm going to plug the hydraulics in as well. We mainly use the hydraulics on this for the side shift, which I like to use for the margins when we go over to the edge of the furrow. One handy thing about this Buffalo is it's rated for 200 horsepower. We found when we had the 6930, we bought a Teagle, which was rated stupidly. It was our fault. We should have checked. But we bought a Teagle, and we actually ripped the PTO apart on a Teagle. So then we sold the Teagle, bought this Massey Buffalo from Nicholson's, a chap called David Nicholson from Stalham, who sells second-hand JCBs and also Case IH Puma tractors. And this has been absolutely fantastic since. And it's our main flail mowing machine. The only thing is we probably need to change the flails at some point. We are just in the field here with the tractor turned off, but I'll try and use the camera to get an idea. Hope you guys will see what sort of condition those flails are in. But they have been knocked back a bit over the last few years, I'd say. So yeah, they're getting on a little bit, heading towards the end of the hammer. But for the most part, they do the job for now. Might go on a little bit longer, hopefully. Yeah, don't go under there, because obviously bloody machine drops. Rubbish, again. Dear oh dear. Walker's salt and vinegar next to the potato field. John Deere. I managed to turn the bleeper off now, so it doesn't bleep at me all the time. Right, we haven't had a problem with the GPS with it when the dome's on. It just makes a bit of a noise, but thanks to you guys, I managed to go into the settings and turn off the noise. So I have this in 1000 RPM for anyone who didn't know. So we've got quite a bit of fields to mow off, because whilst I was away this summer doing some harvest work for ourselves and for other people, slow that down, I never got the chance to get on top of my margin work, which is like where all the grass is on the farm, and I have to take out all the marshes, hammer off all the pin rushes, all the blooming weeds we get, and it's a job I'm catching up on now at the moment, so it's not a bad job to be doing in autumn, to be fair. Although, if you have a look there, where we've got the sheep on the 9 acres, there's something in between here and there, the hedge, and that is really overgrown. Now this time of the year, as I'm sure a lot of you guys will know, you can go out with your hedge cutter and trim those hedges. And we do have a contractor who comes in to trim these hedges with a McConnell hedge cutter and a Massey Ferguson. He's done a lot of hours with this Massey. It's non-blue, but he only comes in at a certain time of the year, and he'll do where the road is, but he won't do, for example, other areas on the farm. And that's why I've been looking at a second-hand McConnell or an old Shelbourne to do areas which the contractor might not necessarily go to because he's busy, he's got his own farm and an estate to look after. So that could be something which we'd look into. But second-hand, hedge cutters, you've got to look after them obviously, and they might not, be as efficient as the new ones. But they would certainly be a good job to do at this time of the year when we've got the flail mower on the front, hopefully, and we can have the second-hand hedge cutter on the back at this time of the year, going around doing all of the stewardship areas which we need for the birds and the bees, and tidying up brambles, overgrown areas on the farm which are near like woodlands, places like that which really want cutting out. We've got some tracks which we want to cut out and open up for bridleways so people can just go for it. Where we've got this business on the farm with the bed and breakfast for the horses, for the liveries, we like people to be able to go out on the farm, go for a hack, and one nice thing for them would be to go around the woodland areas, but the trouble is they're a little bit overgrown at the moment, so that's a big job going down there. We've probably got to go in with a digger in some areas and level out the soil and dig it all out, but that's the new project for sort of next year. And you're putting in some logs, some jumps, maybe some ditches, things like that, to just give people an opportunity to ride their horses in a safe environment and to have some fun, really. And before long, all of our cattle are going to be back in October. So from the Broads to the home farm here, where we'll hopefully put them in. And we still don't know where the hopper is, the Collinson hopper. So Collinson, if you're watching, we need the hopper before the cattle come in. Yeah, thanks very much for watching today's video. Be positive. I know it's difficult at the moment with the way everything's going, but hey, we will get there. We will get there. So we're winning at the moment. We're winning. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.